Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to...
You've been working for God nearly all your adult life. How does it feel to be so devoted, to be so fixated on the things of God? Do you sometimes feel like, okay, maybe for 2 hours, let me just do what I like and I'll come back again? Or, I mean, how does it work?
There are times.
You know, I read sometimes I say, let me leave writing first, let me go and play, let me go and enjoy myself. So, as a servant of God, does it happen to you?
There are times when I see a cold bottle of beer. I remember how it used to be. I say, Kai, this beer looks so nice. That's all. That's all. I mean, if I tell you I don't, it's a lie, you know. But the things that those things have no hold over me again, you know. I without any effort, I don't miss anything. I don't miss anything I used to do. That's the truth. I don't miss nightclubs. I don't miss women. I don't miss alcohol. I don't miss nothing, because it was rough. It was just God's grace that kept me alive for 25 years of my life when I was in hell, discoing, doing DJ, doing pirates, doing lodge, doing Freemason, doing all kind of rubbish. You know, but God kept me, so I don't miss those things. But once in a while, of course, you see, I was with one of my old friends in America who is still a pirate. He was telling me how they still do stuff in America. I'm like, you guys still do these things at 60 something? Yes, they're still living like we lived on campus when we were 19, 20, 21, 22. You know, so I felt sorry for them. Honestly, I felt so sorry for them. I'm like, man, these guys really need God, because they're still doing what we did when we were 20 years, 19 years in the Pirates Confraternity. But you see, for them it is life, but for me it's deliverance. And I thank God that, you know, when He saves you, He gives you the ability, you know, to live beyond those things and desire more things, desire higher things. When you see God, you begin to press into God. You know, God is a wonderful. I can't explain that. So when you cannot understand this when you are outside watching it. When you're inside, all you desire is to be more like Him. To draw. You want to draw more. You want to be filled with the fullness of God. You want to blessing to people. You want to save people, to set people free. People are struggling. Poverty, sin, wickedness, witchcraft, occultism, you know, bad governance. So many things people are entangled in, trying to swallow people up. So God depends on those He's using to help people take their eyes off these mundane things and fix them on Jesus, looking unto Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of our faith. You understand me? So it's a strong thing to do, and you want to do more. I want to speak for 5 minutes and affect somebody and make somebody take away something that maybe an answer to her questions or problems he's going through, and receive a light and see that there is still a God that can help, that loves people. You know, everything. I don't hear us talk about God's love, but see, everything's about God's love. That God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son. So this God that loves us to give us His Son, loves us to also bring us above life in general. You know, God is not happy when we are drunk on the road and He picks us on the road. I was watching one celebrity lady, an American, the other day, and she drank so much, and they had to carry her, you know, into her apartment. And you know, such shames are not for human beings, but that's what the devil has brought us down to, and we think that's what life is all about. You drink and fall inside the gutter. You know, crazy things happen. You have women everywhere. You have men everywhere. You're just doing all kind of things out of control. That's not life. That's not life. Life is more than just living the way you want. You know, all sin is selfishness. Sin is just pleasing yourself. You want to do what you want to do, not caring because you think you're in control, you're in charge. I have the right to do what I want to do. But life is when you fear God, when you honor God, when you know that, well, I want to do this thing, but God, it's not to the glory of God, so I will not do it. So God is living your life. God is helping you, and that's when you know you started living. So, my dear, I just want to press into God. I want to do more for God if I can. I just want Him to use me more to see the depressed, oppressed, see devils come out of people. I want to see the sick healed. I want to see the oppressed set free. I want to see people filled with God's spirit and God's joy. And then I want to see people tell me, I used to be like this, but this is how I am now. That's what I call a changed life, with eternity in view. That's my desire. That's my $1 million.
Interesting. Okay. I like that. Now, if a sinner comes to you and says he wants to follow God, just like you have followed him, what would you tell the people that what will you tell the person that he or she stands to benefit by also following God, just like you have followed him?
Eternal life. That's the most important thing. See, hell, forget about it. I have seen all these comedians make jokes about hell. I saw one they wrote yesterday or 2 days ago. It said when we all get to hell, we'll come together and overpower Satan. I just shake my head. You guys don't know Satan. You think Satan is a small boy? You think Satan is a bacha? They wrote yesterday. That was a teenage nut. They said it was all going to come to hell. In fact, when all of us full hell, we'll come there, we'll rise up, overpower Satan, take over hell, come out of hell and go to heaven. That is the mindset of human beings, because they think that they'll still be like they were when they die. Hell is not a place you joke about. It's not a place you go to. And the most important benefit of Jesus Christ, the most important part of Jesus Christ, for me, what He has done for everybody is that we are not going to hell. We are not going to be with the devil, because you see, He has gone to hell for us. So no human being should go to hell again. So all we need to do to avoid going to hell is to give our lives to Him. You see? Then apart from the hell aspect, He gives us life, clean life. A life without hangovers, a life without fear, a life without anxiety, because it's our peace. What else do we want? Many people are anxious. Even some rich men are very anxious. They have to smoke and drink and do stuff to keep alive, to stay awake. But Jesus Christ has given us good life. He has given us good success. It says, in me you have life and have it more abundantly. So you gain spiritually, you gain physically. There's nothing to lose. Rather, you lose hell on earth. You lose fear. You lose anxiety. You lose confusion, because the peace of God is in your life. That's the truth about it. So, what do you lose from all these things? You gain everything, and at the end of the day, you're in heaven with Christ. What else?
Interesting.
A faith life is a life that passes through this place without Jesus.
Interesting. Now, ever since you started working with God, what would you say has been the greatest lesson they have learned from Him and that He has also taught you?
He has taught me one thing, that nothing works against us. What Satan and men always mean for evil, God turns around. That is the truth. Nothing. No matter how the devil tries to play this game, when you're on God's side, you win all the time. You win all the time. You win all the time. They can take your job, not knowing that God has something better for you. And in a few years' time, when you look back and say, wow, when I lost my job, I thought my life was over. Not knowing that God meant it for good while they meant it for evil. You understand me? So, everything works. Nothing works against me. So when with that in mind and with that as my revelation, I cannot cry for anything I lose.
Interesting. Interesting. Now, considering all the beautiful things that people stand to gain by following God, why do we still find most of them being reluctant to follow Christ, to follow God? Why do they continue to wallow in their sin and in their unrighteousness? Why are they finding it difficult to move from that point where they are, that back point, let me use, so to speak, where they are, to the right point? Why is it difficult for most people to do that?
I lived for my first 25 years. I didn't want to hear about this Jesus. I mean, I was in university. I passed through university. I got to university at 18 and I studied architecture. So from 18 to 24, 26 years, 24, when I left school, I didn't want to hear about Jesus. We had SUs who would try to come to preach to me about Jesus. I'm like, get out of here, because Satan had bound my head. You see, the Bible calls the devil the prince of the power of the air, who has blinded the minds of every human being on earth. So Satan blinded my eyes from the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I didn't want to hear about it because I was preoccupied with my alcohol, with my way of life, with my women and all that. I wasn't interested in giving them up because I did not understand that I had nothing to lose. But I thought I had the world to lose, which I didn't want, because I love the world so much. I love the life so much. I love the freedom, in quotes, so much. No, that freedom is actually bondage. That freedom is bondage because you're bound to a certain lifestyle, but you think you're free. See, Satan is so smart. I give it to him. He is so smart. He understands man. He knows the psyche of man. He knows what man desires. He knows what man wants. And he will give it to you times 10 if that is going to make him keep you locked, blinded, and tied up without you knowing. And you think you're free. So you see the people who are free, you think they're in bondage. I used to call the SUs in those days in the Enugu campus as people who are in bondage of religion, who don't know what life is all about. So man, I tell you, it is well. It is well. That's the truth. It is well. It's Satan that doesn't want anybody to see light. That's all we must pray for the light to come, to shine through, to break into the spirits of people, for people to see themselves the way they really are, that they're not free, that they're bound. Some people cannot live without smoke, cigarettes. Some are bound by all these drugs. They can't do without them. And then they think they're living. No, that's not life. Life is when you are free, when you can tell. Wake up by 2 a.m., there's nothing in your face, there's no drug, no alcohol. Your mind is clear, your conscience is clear and free. That's what life is all about.
Okay. Now, for some people, I don't know whether I should equate it with one quote from the Bible. I think it says something like the body. I mean, the body is willing, but the spirit is weak, or something.
The flesh, the spirit is willing. The flesh.
Yes. So, what is the best way for such people to overcome some of these challenges? Because it's not like they don't want to do it, but they try, but they don't succeed. What would be your advice to people in that situation?
Well, you see, like I said, it's not up to the people. It's really up to us to pray them out. You get my point? A man in darkness cannot help himself. You can't see. If there's no light in your house now and somebody is outside calling you, you say, wait, let light come. Because you don't know you will not see what's on the way. So a man that is in darkness cannot help himself. And that is why the church has been distracted. Let me tell you something. When I was in the university, I used to see the SUs pray for us. I mean, that was when Christianity was in a different level. These SUs were praying for us in darkness to come out of darkness, because it takes the prayer of the righteous to break into the lives of people in bondage and let light shine through them, and for them to see their true state. No man that sees his true state will want to remain in it for 1 second. But because of the blindness of darkness, the enemy will not allow you see ourselves. Allow us see ourselves. So a man in darkness cannot help himself. He depends on us. But now, but the church today, I'm talking about the church in those days, about when I was like 21, 22, 23, many years ago, like almost 40 years ago. The church 40 years ago were on fire. They were praying for sinners to be saved. But the church today are no more praying that prayer. Rather, they're asking them to all die. And so that's why salvation is so hard now. Salvation is so hard. People don't get saved anymore because people are praying for themselves. People have become, the church, we have become so self-centered, no more God-centered. Because when we are God-centered, we do the will of God, and the will of God is to save people. And how are they saved? Prayer. But when we turn the prayer to us, our prosperity, my breakthrough, all my enemies must die, all those that are in my way must die, so they don't get saved anymore.